today, or if you need to assemble it yourself later, make sure you tune in on the Varsity Sports Network app on your favorite computer, Apple TV, Roku, or Fire Stick device, or on varsitysportsnetwork.org.
And we are underway with game number 11. That was Mark Barchi, the voice, the public address announcer. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon, the day before Thanksgiving. Hope everyone out there does have a beautiful holiday. Apopka in the white jerseys with possession. That's Tepper. And now Daren Leath, Lewis brought the ball up, back low, and making a withdrawal from the bank is Carter Hankerson, 2-0 Apopka, scoring first over Bartow. This is the 2022 Metro vs. Florida Challenge, dedicated to Earl Graham. Bartow, of course, coming in a perennial state championship contender from Polk County. A lot of loose balls here in the early going. No basket. Travel, Jason Williams doing the traveling. So Apopka with the opportunity to up the lead to 2 possessions in the early going. Bartow, as is always the case under Coach McGriff, man-to-man full court defense. Lewis with possession, swings it around to Leath now. Back to Lewis. That's Tepper extended right into Hankerson. Of course, Apopka winning both preseason games. That's Leath. Faces up, short. Getting the open, the rebound, Willis, the other way. And possession will remain with Bartow. Only a minute and a half in. 2-0 lead for Apopka. Bartow with possession. And Willis will try to rebound. Unable to, though. Great defense from Apopka. Here in the early going. Not just on that possession, but on the other possessions. Malachi Brave bringing the ball up. And our first foul of the game. So the Metro versus Florida Challenge. It's similar, the same idea as the ACC versus Big Ten Challenge. Whacked away. The Metro Conference is made up as no dice. And clearing that rebound is Hankerson. The Metro Conference made up of all 22 public high schools in Orange County. Of course, Orlando, the big city in Orange County. Once you become a school, you're automatically admitted into the Metro Conference. They take on a member from a non-member of the Metro Conference. And at the end of the 28 games, we add up who has more victories, the Metro Conference or the Florida contingency. That's Hankerson inside, turns around and whacked away. Nice roll, Tepper with the shot. Lewis tracks that ball down. Apopka continue to move the ball well. Good movement, not only with the ball, no dice. Scramble, Tepper rips it away from Bartow. Lewis unable to get the bank. And now Bartow finally get the ball back. Bartow dodging the proverbial bullet. 3 field goals taken by Apopka. They can't get the ball to drop. Short, Tepper doing Windex work. Lewis coming up. Tepper 3 feet behind the arc, no dice. Tipped around, give the rebound to Williams. And now at the other end, the other Willis can't get the bank, rolls off the rim, and Tepper continues his hot rebounding. 4 so far in the early going, not even halfway through the first quarter in a whistle. So a very lively, energetic start to this game as you would expect between Apopka and Bartow. So as Mark Barchi, our public address announcer, announced, 21st year for Terrence McGriff. They were the district champion last year, 17-10 record, 6-4 event record. Members of 6A7, of course 7 classifications in the state of Florida.
Daren Leath is foul on his way up. Put the line and shoot 2 for Apopka. The foul is called against number 14, Lawrence Horton, his first.
So Leath will go to the line, still looking for his first points of the game. Of course, only 2 points have been scored, both by Apopka. Tepper dropping the deuce. So Apopka under Scott William, his 7th year at Apopka, an MVC record of 11-8. They were a regional quarterfinalists last year, losing to Seminole. Score the deuce, going bank, Tepper. So Windex work in bank, and a 5-0 lead for Apopka in the early going. And just that quickly on the tray, the lead cut to 5-3 as this quick pace up and down the court continues. Of course, both these teams are shooting the ball quickly, but they are getting that ball up and down the court quickly. This is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge. Game number 11, the 4th on the 2nd of 4 days. Hankerson doing Windex work, can't get the bank. Tepper tips it over to Carter. Dangerfield. 4 opportunities for Apopka. They certainly have done mass shooting. Of course, they've been hitting those boards hard so far to create that advantage. And now the defense kicks in on the traveling. 5-3, 3:24 first quarter. Well, I also mentioned this is the largest in terms of games and teams competing ever for the Metro versus Florida Challenge, the 12th annual. As Apopka will maintain possession, it's Donovan Dangerfield, 6'1" senior shooting forward. And Sam Bell, who's come in, the point guard, who's one-on-one against Khalif Valentine. Apopka goes extended left. So 28 games this year, 7 games, 4 days. Yesterday, today, Friday, and Saturday. Of course, taking tomorrow off for the holidays. Apopka with the 5-3 lead. It's been a very active, lively, up and down game. But defense has so far carried the day, despite that quick pace in terms of getting the ball up and down the court. Bell kicks it out to Dangerfield, one-on-one with Williams. And there's another turnover. See a number of them here in the early going. Down low. The turnaround by Williams. Clanks off the rim. Skying for the rebound. Bracey, and we come back the other way. Stop, pop, and drain the rain for Daren Leath. So 8-3 lead, and that answers the tray, which Bartow dropped. 2 minutes remaining, 8-3 lead. Kicking out and finding the range. Horton. So both these teams now heating up from beyond the arc. 8-6 as we head into the last minute and a half. And now Bartow also getting its defense in 5th gear. Last 3 possessions, Apopka has lost control. They haven't lost possession, but unable to get the ball up without it going out of bounds first. Both these coaches, McGriff for Bartow and Williams for Apopka, state championship coaches. So Bell bringing the ball up, coming in about midway through that first quarter. Of course, this is the first game for both teams as the long range splash. Ford finding the range, 9-11 to 6 now. Apopka's led throughout. Answer, no dice. Ripping that rebound down was England, but just as quickly swatted away. This is Leath, who came back into the game at the last break, and he draws the foul, slashing and dashing on the right of the free throw lane. 1:05 remaining. Apopka with the 11 to 6 lead. Last three converted field goal attempts are all worth 3 points. Went about 5 minutes with only a 2-0 lead for Apopka. Both teams heating up now, finding that range. And the first regular season game, this is the Metro versus Florida Challenge. The 2022 installment, 12th edition. Whistle. And it's going to be a technical foul. And a personal foul, Jamarian Butler committing both of them, and that will send Jordan Ford to the free throw line. 11 to 6 lead, 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Ironkind on that first shot. Both free throws good, and Apopka with the 3 possession, 13 to 6 lead. And Apopka maintains possession, and in my opinion, that's what hurts the most about getting a technical. Opportunity to score on back-to-back possessions without the opponent having an opportunity. So 40 seconds remaining. Bell working that right side. Picked up loose ball by Ford. And another stoppage as one of the Blue Darters, Apopka, hits the deck. And I could hear Coach Williams to my left during those free throws yelling, "Let's close out the quarter strong." And that's Jermichael Johnson, the 6'2" sophomore forward, who hit the deck. And Coach Williams sends in Vaughn Zamar, the 6'1" senior forward, in his place. 32 seconds remaining, and a 13 to 6 lead by Apopka. They have led since the first possession. Went about 5 minutes with only a 2-0 lead for Apopka. Of course, now they are on a 7-0 run. And they'll have an opportunity to increase that run. Beautiful in the lane pass, but a travel basket does not count. So Bartow take possession. Bartow also trailing a decisive advantage for Apopka in fouls, as one good turnover deserves another. Bartow's already committed 6, so Apopka will be in the bonus for the entire second quarter. At the very least, Apopka will yet to commit a foul. 13 seconds remaining. I'm Neil Fisher.
Checking into the game for the Jackals, number 44,
and hope everybody has an enjoyable holiday and an enjoyable holiday weekend. Last shot opportunity for Apopka. Bench counting down the time. 5 seconds. They swing it to the left corner. Have to shoot it. Short. One last opportunity. Yes! Windet's work and the finger roll. Vaughn Zamar. And that makes the score 15-6 at the end of the first quarter. Apopka ripping off that lead. This is the 2022 Metro versus Florida Challenge on the Varsity Sports Network. And welcome back to the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Game number 11, the Apopka Blue Darters at the end of the first quarter, a 15-6 lead over the Bartow Yellow Jackets. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving. Thank you for spending a part of your holiday weekend with us. Bartow will begin the second quarter with possession. Apopka scoring first, a 2-0 lead, and they have led since then. Closing out that first quarter with a 7-0 run. And that's been the name of the game for Apopka. Defense has come to play today. And now Lewis brings the ball up one-on-one against Lawrence Horton. Bartow remains in the full court man-to-man defense as their trademark under McGriff. No dice for Tepper, doesn't catch rim. And Bartow will come back the other way, looking to cut that lead down to 9 points. Don't want it to get too big as we now head into the middle of the game. Nice spin and the finger roll. Cuts the lead to 15-8. And now double coverage from Bartow. It pays off, snagging that ball. Aaron passes Williams. Bartow looking for another shot. Apopka having none of it, in particular Lewis swatting the ball away. He'll lead the charge at the other end to Tepper. Back up to Ford. And he draws the foul, contact. 6:47, second period, 15-8 lead for Apopka. Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium, the home of the Apopka Blue Darters, the scene, as Ford steps up to the line. And Ford with 5 points, the 6'6" sophomore. Forward, can't drop the first though. And the lead remains 15-8. Can Bartow score on 2 consecutive possessions? They've yet to score more than one basket in a row. From 10 feet, pass over to Willis. That's Eric. Scramble underneath, picking up the loose ball. England and Tepper doing the Windex works, lowering that shoulder. And he'll also draw the foul. And 7th team foul on Bartow. Actually, excuse me, the 8th team foul. So with 6:18 remaining, Apopka will be in the bonus the rest of the game. Tepper steps up to the line. Drops that first free throw. No problem for the senior. Of course, Tepper, 3-year starter. Played in every game last year. 8.7 points, 5 rebounds. And was shot 80%. Another opportunity for Apopka. That defense rearing its head again. Can't get the ball to drop. But certainly Coach Williams has to be happy. You keep getting those turnovers. Eventually some of them are going to drop. Also gives Bartow something to think about in the back of their mind. That clinks off the back of the heel. Williams taking the shot. Long range, Lewis, splash! So the 19-8 lead. And Bartow opening the scoring in the second quarter, but now 4 consecutive points by Apopka to take that 19-8 lead into the break. Varsity Sports Network. Back to live action from the Metro versus Florida Challenge. fourth game today, 11th overall. 19-8 lead for Apopka over Bartow. Apopka with possession. They've led throughout, scoring on the first possession. And they put together a couple of streaks to answer Bartow scoring. This is their first lead in double digits today, though. If you're new to the Metro versus Florida, as Leath takes it, rolls out, tipped around, finally grabbed by Willis, and he'll lead the charge. Bartow likes that transition. No dice for Smathers. And Apopka comes down just as quickly at the other end. No dice for Tepper. Scramble, a lot of bodies, and a possession. A jump ball. Possession will go to Apopka. So the Metro versus Florida Challenge is based on the Big Ten ACC Challenge or the SEC versus Big 12. Every school, public high school in Orange County, is a member of the Metro Conference, and a member of the Metro Conference, as we get the whistle, takes on a non-member, otherwise known as the Florida Contingency. And at the end of the 28 games this year, the side with the most victories is the winner. So again, this is the 11th game overall. 7 games, 4 days, the largest ever in terms of the number of games. And reverse does not drop. Slides off that rim by Williams. And Hankerson doing the Windex work. Back the other way. Sam Bell in and out, but patrolling underneath that basket and drawing the dividends in the form of a foul, Hankerson.
Foul called against Travis number 3, Kobe Valentine. His first personal foul, which means mounting the line shooting number 32, Anderson.
So the next foul will put Apopka in the double bonus. Apopka committing only 1 foul so far, quarter and a half into this game. As Hankerson lines up for his second free throw, looking to get that lead to 20-8. No dice. And great effort along that sideline by Dangerfield, but unable to corral the ball. So if you're Coach Williams at the 4:24 mark of the second quarter, you have to like what you see, despite the fact that Apopka has let a couple of opportunities go by the wayside to increase that lead. Still, if you're getting rebounds and forcing turnovers, eventually those points are going to be put on the scoreboard. And now, I believe this is the first time today we've seen an actual half-court set by Bartow. Of course, under Fred McGriff, a 2-time state championship coach. As the launch from Horton slashes off that rim, doing Windex work is Williams, and he'll go to the line after grabbing that rebound. Foul on Adam Bracey. So under Coach McGriff, who's in his 21st year at Bartow, Bartow likes to run that ball. They like to even run half-court transition.
Checking in for Apopka, number 12, Elijah Lewis.
3:54 remaining, a 20-9 lead for Apopka. They have led throughout this game. Second free throw does not drop. And Apopka go back to work, and there's an opportunity going by the wayside. The travel. So Bartow dodges the proverbial bullet. Of course, after missing the free throw, opportunity for Apopka, unable to capitalize, turn it into a bigger lead. Still an 11-point lead for Apopka. Apopka looking good through the first quarter and a half or so. And the slash dash to Noah Bell. That's Sam Bell taking the charge. Smathers committing the charge. And that is a trademark of Coach Williams' teams. Hard-nosed defense, especially in the lane. Get in front of the ball carrier, and draw the foul.
I don't know what's the matter with that camera down there on the baseline, but it's still no signal.
So ball will be inbounded by Dangerfield. Gives it back to Bell. 1-on-1 with Willis. As Apopka looking to up that 20-9 lead. Apopka earning a berth in the playoffs last year, 19-9 record, but losing to Seminole in that first round. And there's a turnover. Williams trying to go 1-on-1 with Bell, unable to attack. Trademark passing, no dice on the tray. And a lot of big bodies right at that free throw line. Winding up with the ball with Jermichael Johnson in a whistle. And Johnson actually committed the foul in order to get the rebound. Of course, Bartow, Class 6A District 7 member out of Polk County, out by Lakeland. And they continue to move that ball quickly, unable to really get any good looks, or the majority of good looks. There's a good one. Pops off that rim, doing Windex work and making the withdrawal from the bank is Willis. So that cuts the lead to 20-11, back under double digits. As we drop to 2.5 minutes, second quarter. Bell, right in his way, was Horden. Bell retrieves the ball. 1-on-1 action continues. Inside to Lewis, unable to get there. Errant pass. And now one good turnover, in particular interception, deserves another. And give Bell the deuce, the soft floater, as he drives through the lane. And back up to a 22-11 lead for the Blue Darters. At the other end, anything you can do, we can do better. Of course, Willis with the deuce. Of course, Apopka with that lead. They've led since the first possession. Can afford to trade points right now. Minute and a half before halftime. The launch from Johnson does not go. And the proverbial scramble, give that rebound to Bracey, doing some nice work and running that lane and dropping the deuce. So a 24-13 lead for Apopka, lead back up to double digits. And they'll have an opportunity to get it beyond double digits now with that turnover.
Antoine Willis, he is called on the offensive clock.
And it's Anton Willis
no bonus shots for offensive fouls.
Committing the foul. And so as Adam Bracey comes out, he gets a pat on the back by Coach Williams. And again, Coach Williams has to be happy with what he's seen 1 minute before halftime. Obviously a 24-13 lead, but defense and rebounding has keyed that lead, as they will not get that basket to drop. Coming the other way, Willis, the all-star, the man who stood out today, and he continues to swish, and the lead back under 10, 24-15, as we near the halftime, half a minute. Will Apopka take the shot? Yes, they will. Making the withdrawal from the bank. Hankerson, beautiful setup by Tepper, drawing the defense out and opening up Hankerson. 20 seconds. 26-15. Sir Apopka would love to go into halftime with a stop, obviously keeping that lead above double digits. 10 seconds, but also great momentum. And again, in Scott Williams' wheelhouse, hard-nosed defense. Willis at the top. 3, 2, 1. Can they get the shot off? No, they will not. And that's exactly what I mentioned. Hard-nosed defense. They couldn't even get a shot off. And so, Apopka scored first on its very first possession. Tepper draining a 10-foot jumper. They upped the lead to 15-6 at the end of the first quarter. A 7-0 run, and now the lead is up to 11 26-15, and once again going into halftime with the momentum of a defensive stop. We'll be back for the second half. This is the Varsity Sports Network in the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Begin the second half. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us. Hope you have a great holiday. And the story so far, Apopka has used their trademark weapons, defense and rebounding. Of course, Scott Williams, the coach, now in his 9th year, over 30 as a head coach. That's what he's known for. They scored on the first possession. They've led throughout. Their leading scorer for Apopka is Jordan Ford, the 6'3" sophomore forward. And Apopka begins the second half again with the 25-15 lead. This is also the season opener for both these teams, as the 18-footer from Leath finds nothing but net, and now a 28-15 lead, the largest of the game for Apopka. Of course, on the other side, Bartow under Terrence McGriff, a 2-time state champion. His team has had a couple of spurts. They've looked good at times, but for the most part, they've been stymied by this Apopka defense. And there's an example of that. Unable to get that ball in the 5 seconds. So the leading scorer for Bartow, Lawrence Horton, with 6. And Jason Williams with 5. No one else has really been able to score anything that matters as we drain the rain from Daren Leath. And now a 30-15 lead for Apopka, scoring the first 5 points of the second half. Make that 7 as Carter Hankerson goes bank. 32-15 lead, a minute into the second half. If you're new to the Metro versus Florida Challenge, it's based on the Big Ten ACC or the SEC versus Big 12. In and out, unable to drop. Give the rebound to Williams, and nice stroke by Willis. So again, Willis, your leading scorer with 6. He continues to at least keep Bartow within shouting range, as this is Tepper. 32-18 lead now for Apopka. Lewis goes with the high hold, dishes off to Leath, can't get the ball to drop, rims off that side, and now Willis will bring it up, looking to cut that lead down. As we mentioned, Apopka scored on its first possession, taking a 2-0 lead. Tepper with the 10-foot J, give the deuce to Bartow. And that'll cut the lead back down to 12. Say Apopka led after taking that lead. They got it up to 9, and then it settled into between 9 and 11. That was Hankerson with that last shot. And as we just saw, the lead was able to grow all the way to 15 at 30-15. Now back down to 12. And it's been the Antoine Willis and Lawrence Horton show, at least in terms of points. 11 points at halftime. They've kept Bartow in scoring distance. And there's some more of that hard-nosed defense that Scott Williams likes. Tepper with the interception, gets it back. Short. Hankerson doing Windex work and makes the withdrawal from the bank. Back up to 20. Apopka continues to crash those boards. Horton trying to keep Bartow within sharding distance. Tepper doing the Windex work on the other end. So a couple of impressive rebounds by the big guys. Now Tepper goes in, a stop-and-go move. Can't get the ball to drop as it rattles out. 5 minutes, third quarter. Horton shoots again from the other side. In and out. Chasing down the rebound. Williams out to Smathers. Another trade that does not drop. And again, there you see it. Even though Bartow came down with that, Butler in particular, a lot of discombobulation in the Bartow sets.
Yes, sir.
And even there, even though, again, the ball will remain with Apopka, that was Carter getting a hand on the ball, Dangerfield getting a hand on that ball, the 6'1" senior forward. That just slows down Bartow's pace and momentum. They'll try to inbound it again. By the way, Bartow's been called for 3 5-second calls. Unable to get the ball in. Smathers at the top, fakes the shot. 5 feet in, rattles out. Tepper, great movement from the free throw line to get that rebound at the other end. The dish from Leath to Dangerfield in the withdrawal. So a 36-20 lead, and now a chance to get it up even higher. Even the guards, that was Leath, the 6'1" junior guard, back underneath, and a third consecutive withdrawal from the bank. This time Bracey taking the money out of the bank. 38-20, largest lead for Apopka. And as I mentioned in the first quarter, I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us. The voice you hear in the background is public address announcer Mark Barchi. There's going to be an easy deuce. Score that basket to Butler as the Apopka defense broke down. And the timeout called by Coach McGriff of Bartow. But again, in that first half, you were seeing the same kind of defense, a lot of turnovers, a lot of discombobulation in Bartow sets, and Apopka was not getting all of them down, but now you're starting to see, as I said, if you keep getting those turnovers and you keep disrupting the opponent's offense, eventually the baskets are going to start to drop. So 3:25 remaining in the third quarter, 38-22 lead for Apopka in the Metro versus Florida Challenge dedicated to Earl Graham. Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium, the site. This is the Metro versus Florida Challenge. 4 days, 28 games in total. The host school, Apopka, certainly laying claim and making it as early as possible in the season statement. 38-20 lead over the Bartow Yellow Jackets. They have led since the first possession. The reverse from Bell, no dice. And one of the few times that Bartow's interior defense has been able to grab a rebound, and there'll be a foul as well. 3:06 remaining. Apopka led 16-6 at the end of the first quarter and 25-15 at halftime. So they've outscored Bartow 13-7 in this third quarter, currently on a 7-0 run. All 3 consecutive baskets spurred by hard-nosed defense. The stop, the go. Valentine unable to drop, and Apopka on their high horse again. The long pass to Hankerson, Bracey. A little too much lead on that. But again, when you keep getting those turnovers and keep forcing the issue on transition the way Apopka is, you're going to drop more points than not. More of those baskets are going to be scored than not. And the reverse, and there's an example, that was Valentine unable to complete the reverse, and Apopka just as quickly gets down to the other end. The quick swing, rotation to the left side, and now Ford slash and dash, and he'll draw the foul. Horton making contact. Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium, home of the Apopka Blue Darters. They're the host school. This is their 9th season that they've hosted this event. And certainly a festive atmosphere here. About 150 fans in attendance this day before Thanksgiving. Of course, this event actually started about 5 miles down the road over on the southeast side of Apopka. Apopka High School on the northwest side. Scott Williams started the event over at Wekiva High School. He opened that school. Of course, a math teacher by trade, along with his coaching duties. He's also a state champion, won the 1997 state championship. With Mount Dora, that was the Class 4A championship. And Ford, after he forced the issue, comes out, takes a well-deserved break, and more turnovers. Bell, playing defensive back, jumps the route, so to speak. Now one-on-one with Valentine. Apopka swings it over. Bell at the top again. Over to down low again to Bell. And inside tipped. That was intended for Bracey, but a foul. And the foul is on Nathan Smathers. As we drop under 2 minutes in the third quarter, still a rather comfortable lead for Apopka, 39-22. So both these teams moved the ball well as just getting up and down the court, but also in terms of the players' movement, real well. The tray does not drop. Rattles out, give the rebound to Wiggins. One of the few rebounds, especially long, that Bartow's gone. They can't get the tray, but they will get the rebound in the second chance point. Score that deuce to Smathers. Cuts the lead to 39-24. But to finish my point about the movement, in the second half, it's really been dominated in terms of the ball and the body movement as the ball clanks off. Dangerfield rips that ball down in the left corner. Apopka travels, so a turnover. 10-point lead for Apopka, 11-point lead at halftime for Apopka. They've extended it to 15. Exactly 1 minute remaining. And I don't think I've ever seen that in 30-plus years of covering high school basketball. The clock had 60 seconds instead of 1 minute. So, of course, does not affect the game, but certainly an oddity. Of course, if anybody wants to let me know if they've ever seen 60 seconds on the clock instead of 1 minute, you can put that in the chat box. Rejected. That was Bell with the shot. 40 seconds remaining. Opportunity for Bartow to get some momentum heading into the third quarter, not just in terms of the play, but in terms of cutting the deficit. A 15-point deficit now. It's been as many as 19. 25 seconds remaining. Coach McGriff, the Bartow coach, he's taken a seat. Coach Williams, though, the Apopka coach, is in his 2-point stance, barking out instructions to his players.
Sam Bell calling his first personal foul, team's first.
And 21.6 seconds remaining in this third quarter. As Bartow goes back to work. Pass down low. The spin along that baseline. And again, the Apopka defense crowding the Bartow offense. Williams trying to make something happen as time running out in the third quarter. Steps out of bounds on the right side of the basket.
You're running to the rim. Full speed. Go.
And so Dangerfield with the inbound. Finds Leath. Leath one-on-one with Smathers. Now back to Lewis. Over to Leath. The bench counting down. Lewis in the middle. Great defensive rebounding work. Great effort by Bracey. Unfortunately, he was out of bounds. So 2.6 seconds remaining. One last shot for Bartow. Willis takes it at half court. And it's an air ball as the third quarter comes to an end. So Apopka has led since the first possession, and they continue to lead in the third quarter. A 10-point lead, now up to 15, 39-24. This is the Metro versus Florida Challenge, dedicated to Earl Graham on the Varsity Sports Network. Start of the fourth quarter, the Apopka Blue Darters have been in the lead and controlling, dictating the terms by which this game is played since the first possession. They now have a 39-24 lead against the Bartow Yellow Jackets. Hard-nosed defense and rebounding, traits of Scott Williams' coach teams, have been the key. Bartow with possession. And first possession, contact as Williams spins and draws the foul.
Third foul called against Carter Hankerson, his second, team's third.
That's the third team foul on Apopka, 2 for Bartow. Certainly a difference from the first half, as Apopka was in bonus before the end of the first half. They reached double bonus about 6 minutes before halftime. And certainly took advantage of that, building a 10-point lead, 25-15 at halftime, and now up to 15 points. Make that 14, 1 of 2 from the free throw line for Williams. We back down to 14 points, and Philip Tepper will inbound the ball as the full court man-to-man continues for Bartow. That's a trade under Terrence McGriff, the two-time state champion at Bartow, now in his 21st year. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us. Possession will remain with Apopka, and once again, Tepper will do the inbounding. And a third attempt for Apopka to inbound the ball. The Metro versus Florida Challenge, the 12th year. And the concept, all the schools that belong to the Metro Conference take on a non-member, a.k.a. the Florida contingency, as Tepper tries to drive that lane. Good defense by Butler. And Leath will take the pass, and he commits the foul. So at the end of the 28 games, which is the largest ever, 4 days, we add up who wins more, the members of the Metro Conference or the non-members. And, of course, the concept is based on the going to college, ACC versus Big Ten Challenge, or the SEC versus Big 12 Challenge, as Bartow continues to keep possession. As Butler, waving his teammates around, gets it into Willis. He's one-on-one with Lewis. 1 minute into the fourth quarter, Apopka is led throughout, looking to maintain that lead, keep it in double digits. And that'll certainly help the Bartow cause, as the up and under move by Willis draws a foul. And that is the fourth foul on Carter Hankerson, the 6'7" center, and immediately Coach Williams calls for Adam Bracey to get into the game. Sam Bell will also join him. Elijah Lewis comes out as well.
Hey, let's box here. Box here.
Both these teams known for not only getting into the playoffs, but certainly at least winning a game or two. As the lead now down to 13, it's been as many as 19 midway through the third quarter. Coach Williams winning the 1997 Class 4A state championship with Mount Dora. As a couple of turnovers, nobody wants to keep the ball. Leath rattles in and out. Windet's work. Some hard-nosed rebounding by Valentine. And now Bartow settled down into their half-court set. 1:15 into the fourth quarter. And Terrence McGriff, in 21 years at Bartow, has won a couple of state championships. Of course, Polk County is a hotbed of championship basketball. The Metro versus Florida Challenge was set up. Of course, we mentioned that Coach Williams started it at Wekiva, felt the program needed a signature event, and of course took it with them when it came to Apopka. But he also wanted an event which showcased the quality of basketball in Central Florida, a.k.a. the Metro Conference. But Polk County, again, as I was just saying, would certainly have something to say about that. We'll be back, 39-26, Apopka leads, 6.5 minutes remaining. And welcome back to the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on the campus of Apopka High School, the site. And Apopka, the host school, with a 39-26 lead. 6.5 minutes remaining with possession. Opportunity to get that lead back up to at least 15. This is Tepper, extended left, going one-on-one with Smathers. Oh, the beautiful give and go, and making the withdrawal from the bank, Daren Leath. Back up to 15, 41-26. Before the break, talking to you about the concept, extrinsic, as no dice. Ball does not go down for Horton, and the rebound to Apopka. They continue ripping those rebounds down. As Tepper stop pops, that's going to be short. And contact underneath, a foul. Wiggins drawing the foul.
Foul call against starter is number 20, Donovan Dangerfield.
Dangerfield committing the foul. And that is the 7th foul on the Blue Darters on Apopka. So Bartow will be in bonus the rest of the way. Of course, the one major difference, or very similar story as the first half in terms of one team having a dominant advantage on the fouls. It was Bartow who committed 7 fouls early in the first half. The one difference, though, was the fact that Bartow committed those 7 fouls much sooner and quicker. There was about 2 minutes left in the first quarter when they got into bonus. Now we're looking at 5.5 here in the second half with Apopka committing the fouls. And that'll be a foul on Jermichael Johnson. Non-shooting foul. Actually, excuse me, that is a foul on Jamarian Butler of Bartow, so it's a Apopka possession. And getting back to the extrinsic purpose of Scott Williams starting this event, the Metro versus Florida Challenge, dedicated to Earl Graham. He also wanted to show that Central Florida had great quality of basketball across the entire state, even maybe the southeast region of the country. But Polk County certainly could go toe-to-toe team with them. As one example, last year, Class 6A, District 7, there were four members of that district as Dangerfield snags that rebound, and all 4 of them made the Class 6A state playoffs. Making the withdrawal, that's Bracey. We back up to 17 now, 43-26, 4:45 remaining. This is the 11th of 28 games in total, 4 days in total, largest ever in terms of the number of games. That ball clinks off the rim for Butler. Doing Windex work is Tepper. He takes the ball back from Lewis, trying to go inside to Bracey, taking that initial shot. And Bracey exerting his presence on that possession as possession does go over to Bartow. And so Coach Williams gives Dangerfield a break. Apopka now going full court, man-to-man. Seen them play a couple different zones in the first half, but it's been primarily, for the most part, man-to-man, full court defense, as Bartow has done the same.
Let's go, East!
Snagging that loose ball. Ford, the long outlet pass to Bracey, and a little too much length. Apopka winning both of its preseason games, part of the Wekiva Mustangs preseason classic. Talked a lot about Coach Williams starting this event, the Metro versus Florida Challenge. That foul was on number 12, Elijah Lewis, the senior point guard. And of course, Coach Williams started this event over at Wekiva. He opened the program there, was looking for a signature event to give Wekiva some notoriety and attention, and brought it with him when he moved up the road to Apopka 9 seasons ago. However, Coach Williams also started the Wekiva Mustangs preseason classic, which is still held over at Wekiva. Speaking of Wekiva, they will take on Seminole at 8:15 tonight, as the first free throw is not good, but ripping down that rebound. And now also committing a foul. That was Nathaniel Smathers. So the next game will be the Olympia Titans taking on Leesburg. Of course, Olympia in the Metro Conference. Leesburg representing the Florida contingency. Apopka has led throughout. Most of this game they've had a comfortable lead. And I'm sure Coach Williams will be more than not happy with his team's performance tonight. Foul on Elijah Lewis. And Bartow will be in double bonus for the rest of the game, 3:36 remaining. And I think as all coaches, but of course, again, Coach Williams, a state championship coach, understands this probably better than most coaches. It's about getting better as the season progresses and playing the best quality of basketball as the playoffs start. As we get another stoppage. And Elijah Lewis committed 3 fouls now in about 1 minute and 15 seconds. He's up to 4 in total. And going to get some replacements. Obviously, Lewis coming out with 4 fouls. Adam Bracey also coming out. Replacing them is Hankerson in Dangerfield. So both free throws good. Cuts the lead to 43-28. 15-point differential. 3:15 remaining. And that's not going to be over and back. Give Bartow credit. The double team and then the loose ball. Great effort by Khalif Valentine. And he's rewarded with the foul. And Philip Tepper commits the foul, and that is actually his first foul. So I think when Coach Williams looks back and talks to his team about this, he's going to be at least happy about the fact that his team came out and looked good in their very first game. Of course, they've made some mistakes. You've seen the quality reflecting that it is the first regular season game, 3rd game in total. As the lead now down to 43-30, 13-point lead. But all in all, Apopka has certainly have far more good quality, high-level quality of play than mistakes and bad play. Of course, there's some of that bad play, a turnover. And the foul on Carter Hankerson. So again, Bartow in double bonus. So Bartow will be shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way.
Horn after 5 seconds, so now. And then in 15 more seconds, we'll hit the horn again.
And the Apopka is starting from a position as far as quality. And that's also the 5th foul on Hankerson. So he will retire from this game. Apopka starting from a position that's probably ahead of the curve in comparison to a lot of other teams. Certainly, Coach Williams has to be happy with their first half effort and taking the lead from the first possession, extending it to 10, and getting it up to as many as 19 midway through the third quarter.
There will be no free throws because it was a team control foul. So team control fouls will never result in free throws no matter how many fouls are on the board for bonus. So double bonus, but it does turn the ball over to Bartow. They'll have the ball at half court.
Okay, so the refs explained that to our public address announcer, Mark Barchi. You might have heard him in the background. It was a team control foul, and that's why the ball, there's no free throws, and the ball was inbounded on the Bartow side. And it's not going to make any difference after all that discussion and information forming the scorer's table. Turnover. Second consecutive team control foul, this one on Bartow. As Apopka goes down low, they'll take some more time off the clock. Nothing doing there. No open shot. Leath, extended left. Now Tepper, right wing extended. Ford launches and drains the range. Exclamation point for Apopka. Back up to 16 points now. Answer from Horden. And Horden's got almost a quarter without any points. And that's part of the reason Apopka's been able to maintain a lead of at least 13 in the second half, for most of the second half. Tepper doing Windex work. Beautiful pass to Ford. He can't get the deuce to drop, but Tepper getting that second consecutive rebound in the Windex work results in a foul. And Lawrence Horden, has now committed 5 fouls and will retire. 8 points.
Checking in to replace him is Dan Thompson.
So 1:57 remaining with Philip Tepper at the line. Tepper dropping both free throws, and that brings the lead back up to 16. So I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this day before Thanksgiving. Of course, we hope you enjoy tomorrow. Hope you enjoy the weekend. Hope you enjoy a weekend of high school basketball here at the Metro versus Florida Challenge, the 12th, dedicated to Earl Graham. Of course, at the end of this game, we will be presenting the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player. We do that at the end of every contest. Of course, Coach Graham, legendary coach in Central Florida, coached for over 40 years, coached multiple sports. He was mostly known, though, for coaching basketball. Coached at a number of schools, and for a number of coaches, he was always that loyal right-hand man who worked behind the scenes in the early morning hours with the players. And, of course, he passed away in January of 2020 due to COVID, and he is very sorely missed, not just here at Apopka, but throughout Central Florida. Again, a familiar face, which just seems very strange not seeing him around Central Florida high school basketball the last couple of years. So Bartow will try to cut into this lead, maybe get some momentum as they continue into their season.
Starters number 3, Daren Leath is first. On the line shooting 2, Jamarian Butler.
Jamarian Butler will go to the line. With Bartow trailing 48-32, 1:20 remaining. After this game, and again the games start roughly 10 minutes apart, Olympia representing the Metro Conference will take on Leesburg representing the Florida contingency. And there's a couple of high-powered programs. Of course, Sean Campbell talked throughout this game. Terrence McGriff, the coach at Bartow, he's won a couple state championships. So is Sean Campbell. And again, that goes back to about mid-fourth quarter. I was telling you about Polk County might have a lot to say in terms of going toe-to-toe with the quality of basketball put on by Central Florida, Orange County. And Olympia High School, of course, that program was started by Mark Grizik roughly 20 years ago. And eventually Grizik coached the Titans, Olympia, to back-to-back state championship finals in 08-09. Now he's with Windermere, who is playing a couple of games in this year's Metro versus Florida Challenge. But they continue under Rob Gordon to be not only a team expected to earn a berth in the playoffs, but to win several games and make a long run. Olympia coming off a 21-8 record, regional semifinalist. And their big stars, E.G. Jizzle James, he's committed to Cincinnati. Leesburg will come into their game 19-8, also a regional semifinalist. So now under a minute, 14-point lead for Apopka. And as the clock continues to tick, no dice on that tray attempt by Valentine. Come back the other way. Apopka looking to get the exclamation point and making the withdrawal after the nice lead pass, Adam Bracey. 50-34. So Apopka scored the first 2 points on the first 2 possessions. It was Philip Tepper, a nice, soft, efficient 10-foot jumper going down as Bracey commits the foul. And Apopka has led since that first quarter, since that first possession. They went on a 7-0 run to close out the first quarter and had a 16-6 lead, led 25-15 at halftime. And pretty much it has been the same old here in the second half, extending that lead to as many as 19 en route to taking what will be their first victory in their first attempt of the 2022 season. So certainly Apopka has looked like a team, the host school has looked like a team that's playing its first regular season game. They've made some mistakes, maybe a dozen or so, a couple of bad turnovers, a couple of bad shots taken because they didn't get into the right location, but certainly far more positive. And that starts with rebounding and defense, a number of turnovers in that first quarter, which again spurred them to the 16-6 lead. Doing it all kinds of defense, not allowing Bartow to be able to get into their set, closing off and trapping along the line. As the exclamation point, the withdrawal from the bank by Bell, and then just good hard-nosed defense forcing Leesburg or Bartow into taking some bad shots. So we'll have the most valuable player award here. Mark Barchi, our public address announcer, will announce that. In the meantime, your final score from Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium: Apopka Boudars 52, the Bartow Yellow Jackets 36. We'll be back in roughly 15 minutes for our next game, which will be the Olympia Titans taking on the Leesburg Yellow Jackets. Take us to the MVP, Mark.
Coach Earl Graham influenced the lives of thousands of young men over his 40 years as a coach in Central Florida. For 15 years, Coach Graham worked an assistant coach alongside Apopka head coach Scott Williams, the last 7 of which were right here at Apopka. The Metro versus Florida Challenge honors the legacy of Coach Graham by awarding our game's most valuable player with a plaque in Earl's name and image. We have Coach Graham's son here to help us present the most valuable player for Game 11 of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And doing a lot of work under the basket tonight with 5 points in the books. It goes to this game to number 5, Philip Tepper. Don't go anywhere. There's even more Metro versus Florida Challenge coming up next. In Game 12, we'll have one of our marquee games. I know this is one a lot of people are looking forward to. The Olympia Titans versus the Leesburg Yellow Jackets coming up next here from Joe Sterling Gymnasium in Apopka.